And good morning, everyone. How are you?
I'm great. I had a great night's sleep last night. There's no rioting on my street.
There's still time.
Nothing got burnt down. I got to tell you, this is some of the things I think that we may be discussing today on the Exiles podcast. And by the way, welcome. We're coming to you this morning live from, as usual, La Divina Italian Cafe, which is open, by the way.
Yeah.
Come on in, dine in. Until when does Phase 2 start on Friday?
Phase 2 will start on Friday.
All right, then. Take
Bye,
care,
Franz.
There goes our friend Franz Borghardt. But Lance LeBlanc and his wonderful staff, Chef Eric, and others are waiting here to take your order for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. You can dine in. You can dine out here on their covered patio, or you can continue to do takeaway, and they'll bring it right out to the curb for you. So come by and see us at La Divina.
So anyway, Cristobal or Cristobal. All right, first of all,
It's Cristobal.
yeah, I think so.
Cristobal.
I mean,
Actually, it's emphasis on Chris. It's
yeah,
Cristobal.
But
Cristobal.
the people on Channel 9 are saying Cristobal. Has the National Weather Service
Bunch of hicks.
Has the National Weather Service screwed
kidding.
up the pronunciation? Do they not know any day laborers that can tell them how to properly pronounce this name?
We all know some day laborers that can properly tell you. And it's like, hey, take a reach around you and find a Latino guy. There's probably one within arm's reach. He'll tell you how to pronounce the damn name.
Talk to a high school kid that's
Got a
taking
better idea.
Spanish.
NOAA. Don't name storms names that people can't pronounce. You know, I want to know when
Well, they're kind of running out.
I want to. There are plenty of names. They just need to branch out into the names of certain ethnicities here. I mean, we have an ethnicity in America. Oh God, this is going to sound so racist, but let's just say it. Black people make names up, so let's go with that. Let's just make names up.
So you're looking for Hurricane?
I'm not condemning black. Make names up. By God, we need new names.
Hurricane
okay?
Taquana?
Yeah, Hurricane Odisea.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, just come up with names. Make them up, man. You run out of names, make new ones up. How about names from? Let's go with names from literature or from fiction. You know, why don't we have a Hurricane Aragorn for a names? Hurricane Frodo.
See, people
Hurricane Gandalf. I would love that because
people will not be able to understand or pronounce or write those.
Hurricane Gandalf would be the storm that comes in, gets into the Gulf, then kind of dissipates and goes away, and then when it suddenly whips back up, it's a Category 3.
I mean, I
You
remember
Lord of the Rings fans.
I remember when they had Hurricane Juan. There was a little damage in Louisiana from Hurricane Juan, and we still had people, now not in the media, we had people that said we're talking about Hurricane Juan.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Hurricane Juan. Slap somebody for that.
Well, I mean, hey, this is America. That great clip that you shared with me from Family Feud, where Steve Harvey is walking down the aisle and says, a man's name that begins with H. And that guy is so proud. You can see he's just all bowed up. Jose, Steve!
What I love about Steve Harvey hosting Family Feud is if you give him a stupid answer, he will call you out. He will embarrass you on national television.
Have we had a
God bless him.
Hurricane Lance?
We probably have had a Hurricane Lance. Let's find out. Let me Google that. Hurricane Lance.
Hurricane Lance. But anyway, back to the central question here.
What's it going to be? How bad's it going to be?
Well, I mean, I'm looking. I looked at the radar a little earlier, or the projections rather, and this could be a pretty good size hit. This is the earliest, by the way, ever in the official hurricane season that a tropical storm has gotten a name.
Okay, I got a wiki on Hurricane Lance, but it was a fictional hurricane for a tabletop exercise.
Well, then we need to use it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to slide that in.
That was in 2018, a preparation exercise for a fictional Hurricane Lance.
So, the earliest third named storm in the Atlantic history.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, that's what it says here. Now, let's see if we can see a little track here.
It became a named storm yesterday, right?
Yes.
Interesting.
The second day of the official Atlantic hurricane season.
And?
So what they're saying here is that it's going to meander around the Bay of Campeche, try to pick up a Hurricane Carmen to go along with it, maybe a little late night happy hour there on the peninsula.
Yes.
And then Sunday, it should be dead center in the Gulf, as far as we're concerned, almost directly south
Okay, here's why I
of
don't.
Baton Rouge.
Here's why I don't like all that meandering around before crossing the Gulf. That's
Yeah.
warm water.
Yes, it is.
And I don't want that, tropical storm spending too much time just meandering around over warm water. Now, the good part is that that's very hilly country there in the western Yucatan Peninsula, very mountainous. And that may help tear it up a little bit. But if it's a strong tropical storm when it decides to start moving north, it could become a hurricane by the time it reaches landfall here.
It definitely could.
And every model, it's so funny. You go to like NOAA and they show you like 7 models. You watch the news in the morning and they show you one path, straight for Louisiana. Is that simply because we're Louisiana News and we're not concerned with? To me, if there's any chance at all, or good probability that would go to Brownsville or something like that, I'd be putting that on there. Say, well, folks, this one model takes it right here, but another model takes it to Pensacola. Another model, if there's any hope, I'd share the hope.
Yes. But, one of the earlier models said that Brownsville was a distinct possibility. Of course, as Diane put out very plainly this morning, there's a lot that can happen when it's sitting in the center of the Gulf.
Or as May once said, many's a slip twixt the cup and the lip.
All right, so here's the deal. How to pronounce Cristobal.
Well, that's not how to pronounce it right there.
Cristobal.
Yeah. Emphasis on the Chris.
Yes.
Now, you may want to say Cristobal, or you may want to say Cristobal. It's whether or not you want to.
But you don't say Cristobal.
Yeah, whether you want to Latinize it or whether you want to pronounce it with a purely Western, you would with your own, in your case, Midwestern accentless voice.
I won't say it right.
Some people in the media, they'll be talking along in a perfectly wonderful Midwestern accentless voice, and then they get to a word like Nicaragua, and they decide they've got to say Nicaragua.
Names.com.
Here it is.
Do it.
Cristobal.
Cristobal.
Oh, they're putting the heavy toe on it.
Cristobal.
Cristobal.
That's the Spanish.
I stand corrected.
Cristobal.
Do we have the correct pronunciation of your name?
No, you don't.
I didn't tell you my name, lady.
Yeah.
Were you fishing?
Wait, get off. Let's see. Here's the argument.
Is that an app or are you going to a website?
This is a website. This is a website.
Let's say, please tell me that's not an app you actually installed on your phone.
No. No. Let's try.
Cristobal.
Let's try this one. Let's, just for fun, let's try this one.
Cristobal.
See, now that's heavy on the Chris.
Cristobal. Yeah.
So, in other words, it's potato. It's potato.
Cristobal.
Well, we need to ask somebody in Miami at the National. Oh, shut up.
Cristobal.
We need to ask somebody in Miami at the National Hurricane Center what they envision for the pronunciation, or why don't you use American names?
Yeah.
Why
American nicknames would be fun. We need like a
Hurricane Booger?
Yeah, or Tropical Storm Skippy.
Hurricane Chip?
Yep. Tater. would be a
Tater?
good one.
Yeah. Peanut?
Peanut. Hurricane Peanut.
Tropical Storm Sissy?
Sissy would be a good one. I think Sissy would be.
Yeah, and
I've actually known women that's like, "What's your name, Sissy?" Well, that's a nickname. What's your name? No, it's Sissy.
Have you met my parents?
You're-
Very low IQ models.
So your birth certificate says Sissy? Yeah.
Yeah. It's written right there in crayon.
Okay.
It says Sissy May.
I knew a guy up in Mississippi that his middle name was Binky.
Oh, what a
And
shame.
that's what he went by. And it's like, I've often thought, this was years ago when we were all young people, and I thought, oh, this guy surely grew up to be a lawyer. He was one of the, the preppy kids from a good family. Meaning they have money.
As opposed to those bad
I've
families.
seen some terrible ass families that had money, but that's beside the point. But he probably became a lawyer or something, and I'm wondering, is this guy just like a 61-year-old man using Binky?
I had a client named Bunky.
Bunky.
Yeah, that's what he went
Binky
by.
and Bunky.
Now, his real name, I think, was Edward, but he went by Bunky. But you see,
Eric Carroll wants to know if they have home on that pronunciation map. Houma.
it's the old joke about the guy from Detroit that is selling in South Louisiana to oil companies. And he gets really hungry, and he's in Thibodaux, and he goes into the Burger King, and they're all talking in kind of a strange accent and all that, and he wants to learn about the area, so he orders his burger, and he looks at the guy across the counter. He said, "How do you pronounce where we are?" And the guy looked at Burger King.
We used to love that when we were kids. Mom and Dad grew enamored of Florida, and it got where several years in a row the family vacation would be in Florida. You know, Disney World and all that kind of stuff. A lot of the other theme parks weren't open yet, but we used to love driving through Florida and having pronunciation games with the names of counties and
all
cities.
Those
You know,
Alachua?
Yeah, Tallahassee was one of the easy ones. You know? But you get some of those old Indian names, like you see here in Louisiana, like Chapatoulas, Chafunkta.
Well, and then you have the deliberate mispronunciations like DEKALB, which
DeKalb.
is, yeah, in the Atlanta area they call it DeKalb. Everywhere else it's DeKalb. The corn hybrid companies, probably 80% of the corn that's planted is DeKalb.
All right, well, we're talking fun pronunciations. There's a small town in southern Louisiana, down not far from the coast, and it's spelled DELCAMBRE.
Delcom.
Delcom. It's pronounced DELCUM. Delcom.
Well, and there's people in Tangipahoa, they're not worried about the
Don't
name.
pronounce that A.
No, it's not. They're not worried about the name of their parish, but it's either Amite or Amit or Amite.
South of the Louisiana border, it's Amite. North of the Louisiana border in Amite County, Mississippi, and there's a town of Amite up there. It's weird. There's an Amite, and then you cross the border, and there's Amite. It's just local pronunciation. What are you going to do?
Well,
Potato.
But, what would you do, for example, if we had fun names? I mean, like S's, you got a lot of them. You got Skeeter.
Oh, sure.
You got Sissy. Mm-hmm. What would you do with W? Would you like Weezer?
Wiener.
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 Hurricane Wiener.
With actually 3 E's. It'd be WEENER. Wiener.
I was not going to mention this, but one of the doctors that was going to be with us on the television show yesterday, and she is the Wiener Chair of Endowed something or other, and I was not going to say, what's it feel like to have that Wiener on your chair every day?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad she didn't show up, Bill.
Yeah, me too.
It was a great show, by the way. If you missed the Exiles TV show yesterday, we had a wonderful time speaking with 2 brilliant lady research doctors that have made a huge breakthrough in COVID-19 testing. Cut the amount of time it takes to get a positive or negative, improve the testing procedures themselves. And this is something I think you're going to see ripples into other states and everything as more people adopt this procedure.
And most importantly, it got tests into the Baton Rouge area rapidly and in enough quantity to make a difference here early enough, as opposed to waiting 2 and 3 weeks to get tests. That really was a game changer for patients here in Baton Rouge. But it was a good show. You can watch it again this weekend, by the way, on KPBN, or you can watch it on YouTube.
Catch it on YouTube anytime you want, on demand. Just go to the Pelican Broadcasting page on YouTube. And I shared a link. I put a link on this page, the Morning Exiles page on Facebook Live. No, it's not Facebook.
Let's continue with a D. What cool name would you have for D?
I don't know. Are we talking redneck nicknames?
Well, any kind of nickname.
Dino, I think, would be good. Dino's a cool name.
There was a Dino.
Probably was, yeah.
How about Dude?
Hurricane Dude, especially since, the Big Lebowski. Now, Dude is now accepted. It's, you're just the dude.
Now, E might be a problem.
E could be tough. Nobody has a name with Ebb. What's that? Let's go to Green Acres.
Echo.
Has there already been a Hurricane Echo?
I don't know. I went to school with I went to a school with Echo Tannhauser.
Yeah, women have been naming their daughters Echo for many years.
Yeah, she was a tall, gangly girl until she got to high school, and then she got exceptionally top-heavy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm so glad to hear that.
She wore it well. Hey, Echo, do you know your shoes don't match? I mean, exceptionally.
All right.
All right.
Dog.
But anyway,
Good morning.
how are you? Let's take a look at the science that they have right now behind this here hurricane. Just
Sunday afternoon is the best guess for landfall if it comes to Louisiana. Sunday afternoon, I think, is what I heard Ms. Deaton say this morning on WAFB Channel 9. And, you know, I trust Diane. By the way, have you seen the new thing Diane's doing occasionally? I don't know if she's doing it intentionally or not, but they'll go to the weather and it's just the board. And you hear Diane talking, and then she comes walking around the corner to the board.
Really?
And she does this little strut up to the weather board. It's like,
Really?
yeah, you go, Diane.
Diane in motion.
Yeah, baby. I love Diane Deaton.
There-
She's so nice.
There's a tremendous cloud bank, by the way. If you look at a radar, or a satellite image, rather, there's a tremendous cloud bank that you see around this storm, but that's not the size of the storm. The storm is still pretty compact, but there was that low pressure front coming in from this side. See, all the clouds that you see now over the Hispaniola Peninsula
See?
and Florida
See?
and all that is another front. But
That's that one that started in the Pacific and
Yeah.
is working its way across.
Cristobal is still basically hugging the coast of the Bay of Campeche, and
I just like saying Bay of Campeche.
I do too. It sounds so tropical. It sounds like a lot of fun. But according to the National Weather Service, that Cristobal is forecast to begin moving northward Friday. So we still got 2 more days.
So those are the days you have to, as I said yesterday on the TV show, make sure that your generator is going to start for you, should that be necessary. And you might want to lay in 4 days to a week supply of, whatever you think you may need.
Not toilet paper.
But this is not predicted to be, not yet anyways, this is predicted to be a hurricane when it reaches landfall.
Yeah, now here's what's interesting about this is that the National Weather Service and the National Hurricane Center Atlantic in Miami is saying that right now there is heavy, heavy rain as it's hugging, the coast near the Bay of Campeche. But the rain field is not expected to be terribly severe, and they're saying it is way too early to determine the magnitude of the impact at this time. So,
In other words, we don't know.
well, it's a good, honest answer because, as Diane pointed out,
I don't mind them telling me they don't know yet.
Yeah, that
Good morning.
a lot can change when it's out there in the Gulf of Mexico, meandering around. Its forward motion is next to nothing.
Right now.
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's
By the way, some hurricane names here on an E-storm name. We got some input from Leslie, who says Hurricane Elvis.
hey,
Jane says Hurricane Eli. On your D-storm question, Steve says Hurricane Doogie.
oh yeah,
Doogie's on.
yeah.
And I love this from Ashley. She said, May, murder, hornets, and riots. June, 500 hurricanes. July is going to be lit. We'll be lucky if we're still here to celebrate July the 4th.
We've already seen these big cicadas in our backyard, by the way.
Byron says Cristobal sounds like measurements of meth you would sell a drug dealer.
You're right, it does.
Yeah,
Well,
I'd like to get a Cristobal.
It is Colombian in origin. So,
Let me get a Cristobal.
can I have a Cristobal, please?
Let's see. It shouldn't stall over us. It should keep moving once landfall. Looks like the heavy rain will hit Florida, says Eric. I did notice one model that showed all the heavy rain is expected to be to the east of the center of this system. And that means if it does make landfall on a track for the Baton Rouge area, which would be, what's the coast directly below us?
Well, that's Terrebonne Parish
Yeah, it's
right there, yeah.
Terrebonne Parish. So if it comes directly north, right through our state,
We're on the wet
probably
side.
Orleans will get hammered with a lot of heavy, heavy rain.
Yeah, we'll be on the wet side too.
Yeah.
But the thing about this, I think that is disconcerting to a lot of people, is it is so early in the season. We usually don't keep a real good eye on things until we get into August. And this is so early. I think this really shakes a lot of people right now.
We've had early hurricane seasons before, but we didn't have anything that impacted the northern Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
Not during any of these early storms. Not that I can recall.
Now, these are the
anytime
ones that
recently.
always went to Bermuda in the past.
It seems like our area usually gets it around Labor Day weekend. I've often wondered, it's like, are we going to be able to celebrate Labor Day this year? No.
Lack of
Okay.
Labor Day.
I can remember several Labor Days where we didn't get to do anything except maybe, fight with our generator, eat Spam.
Yeah.
Yikes. Can I talk about some of the things going on in America right now?
You certainly can.
There is one thing that's getting a lot of distance on social media, and it appears is based on a lie. And if it's based on a lie, then shame, shame, shame. It's this photo opportunity that President Trump did the other day. He literally walked from the White House down the several blocks and help me out with the name of the church.
Trinity
Thank you.
Episcopal Church.
This is a church that's been attended by presidents for 200 years. One of the things that happened over the weekend with riots in Washington D.C. is that church was set on fire. Now the fire was put out, but Mr. Trump appeared in front of the church holding a Bible, which a lot of people were incensed because he's holding a Bible. What about separation of church and state?
Well, they also joking. He said, maybe come inside. It'll be a new experience for you.
Well, first the left-wing media was bitching because he was hunkering in his bunker, and then he came out of the bunker and he walked. I guarantee you, no other president would have walked. If Barack Obama were going to do the same thing, he would have gotten in an SUV, surrounded by Secret Service agents, and gone the 2 blocks.
Clinton would have walked if there was a hot chick on the other end.
Well, Clinton was a jogger too, and so was George W. Bush. But the lie that's being told is that protesters that had gathered again at the church were gassed in order to clear the way for the president. And not all news media has reported that, but some that are considered to be reputable news media have reported that people were gassed.
And to your point, the rector of that church is a lady who is a bishop. She was one of the first female bishops in the Episcopal Church, as a matter of fact. Said, no, nobody was gassed here. She said she wished the president had come in and said a prayer with her. But she said nobody was gassed.
But the very few people have called the news media on spreading that lie. Nobody's done a retraction. Nobody said, we're sorry we reported people were gassed when they weren't.
Well, you know what they're doing? They're doing the long reach, because on the other side of Lafayette Park, not the side where the president would have, not the side that is near one of the egress areas for the White House, the other side of Lafayette Park.
A couple of canisters got.
Yeah.
But that's not at the church.
Oh, I know that.
Where the president had
to
be.
You got that long reach. Again, when the CNN crew got arrested, which I thought was ridiculous.
It was.
But
they were arrested for nothing.
And they were told by their supervisors and by the governor that you should not have made these arrests. But there was a white CNN reporter, and they didn't arrest him. And everybody said the white CNN reporter was there and he wasn't arrested. The black one was.
And that, by the way, that black reporter could not have been more compliant.
Oh, they were all very nice. But again, the white reporter was 6 blocks away. Yes, he was on the scene of the general disturbance, which was a long way away, but they wanted you to believe that the same officers that arrested this one crew could see the other one and, well, we're not going to arrest him because he's white. And that is so wrong, that linkage, that extension. And, unfortunately, sometimes you and I get tricked and we get into that extension game. Not much, but we get tricked occasionally and get into that extension game too.
Oh, yeah, I've been busted spreading fake news on social media.
But you didn't do it intentionally.
Well, it's like I confessed it. I wanted it to be true so badly.
See, I never want anything to be true or false. I just let's see what happens.
I admit I got an agenda sometimes, and I try not to be overly agendized, but sometimes I'm just weak, man. What can I say? I'm just weak.
Well, speaking of weak, it's time for us to take our break because my bladder is weak.
You need to get you some of them deep ends, adult garments.
Hey, look, I had someone ask me, the Bill Clinton question, boxers or briefs, and I said, depends.
Did you ever? You probably didn't because you hate these superhero movies. But there's a scene in Iron Man 2 where billionaire industrialist Tony Stark is throwing himself a birthday party, and he's smashed. He's way into his cups, and he's wearing the Iron Man suit with the visor up. And he says, he's got the DJ's mic at the party, and he's talking to the party guests. He says, people ask me all the time, how do I go to the bathroom in the suit? And he goes, just like that.
Well, when I was in the hospital for my heart bypass, my surgeon, Dr. Sheila, was a great guy and a very eminent surgeon. He was trained by DeBakey. And I said, there are 3 things I ask of you. I said, I know you normally do 2 breathing tubes when you're doing an open heart surgery. I said, tell the anesthesiologist what I do for a living so he doesn't damage my cords. And he wrote it in the chart. I said, secondly, I don't want to wake up in recovery with a breathing tube. Because I will fight, I will struggle. And he says, okay, when we see you're coming around, you're still kind of out of it, we'll pull the tube and hope for the best, and we'll have to put it back in if we don't. Fair with me? And I said, I do not want to wake up with that urinary catheter. And
Ow.
And he said, I can't do that. And I was like, really?
Ow.
So I woke up
Can't
with...
you just change the sheets?
It's a lot easier coming out than it is going in, I will tell you that. And I mean, when I worked in the hospital, I placed over 200 of those. Okay.
Man, that's a personal experience I could do without.
But anyway, so when they took it out, they said, "Now what we'll do is we'll give you some incontinence underwear. Depends, And I said, no. I said, doctor wants me up. I will get up and go to the bathroom. And they were like, well, you might have to get up in the middle of the night. I said, I will get up. I will go to the bathroom. If you want me to die, put depends on me. I will die. I will hold my own oxygen tube closed until I go, but I will get up.
I'm going to tell a quick story. Many years ago, when I was very young, I had an accident in gym during gymnastics, and I broke my leg. And for whatever reason, I think it was just that the doctor didn't want to come in just to set a kid's leg at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because this was after school hours, and so I had to wait the whole night to have my leg set and put in a cast, the whole night.
Damn.
So they propped my leg up with pillows and put lots of ice on it and everything, and the call of nature came, and it was not the call of nature where you can use the little. It was
the little carafe.
It was the other kind, and it's like, I'm sorry. I look at a bedpan in a hospital. I go, no, that just ain't happening.
They're quite cold.
So literally, I got up and hopping on my left leg. I went to the bathroom, the actual bathroom, and I'm hopping back to my bed, and the nurse is just reading me the riot act. You should have used bedpan. And it's like, look, lady. When you start using one of those things, dignity is out the window. Mm-hmm. Forget about it. Forget about it.
No, not a good experience.
Yipes.
For those of you in the audience that are a bit younger, see what you've got to look forward to?
Yep. Just remember the old phrase, be kind to your children because they will pick your nursing home.
I'm older, and now I don't have to take that break I alluded to. We're past it.
Yeah.
Literally past it.
I'm going to take it anyway. I'm going to grab a cup of Joe. He's going to grab a minute. We'll be back in just moments. Just a quick pause. We'll be right back. Hope you'll join us.